Good morning or afternoon, pre-algebra. Welcome back to another edition of our screencast series. Today we are starting the second half of Unit 10, which is on probability. So we're going to look at simple events. What are simple events? They're events that are only one thing. All right, you're looking for heads on a coin flip or a 5 on a dice roll. So we're talking about a couple elements of simple events today. First off, how do you calculate probability? You take the amount of what you're looking for, like in a coin flip, there's one heads, and then you put that over how many options there are, how many outcomes are possible. And in the case of a coin flip, it's 2, heads or tails. So the probability of getting heads on a coin is 1 out of 2. You can convert that to 50% by taking it times 100. When we're talking about probability, the best way to talk about it is the percent because it's the easiest to understand. So we have 5 basic levels of likelihood. Impossible means it can't happen. So if I'm trying to get a coin flip and I want a 3 on my coin flip, that's not possible. If I want heads or tails, that would be certain. It's going to be heads or it's going to be tails. No matter what I flip, it's going to be one of those 2 options. And then then if it's like a heads on a coin flip, it's a 50% chance. It's called equally likely. 50% chance here in the middle. And then if it's more than 50, it's just likely. And if it's less than 50, it's unlikely or less likely. Likely could also be said as more likely if you get closer to certain. Okay, so there's your 5 categories of likelihood. So let's jump right in. We have a bag containing 7 pink, 2 white, and 6 blue marbles. 1 marble is selected without looking. What's the probability of a white? So start up here. How many whites are there? How many marbles? 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. Let's make it a percent by taking it times 100. And I get 13.3 repeating percent. So we're going to round it. You could round it to 13%. What's the likelihood? This is less than 50. It is pretty close to 0, honestly. So this is very unlikely. I would also accept unlikely. Okay, that's just a general term, but it's very unlikely because chances of it happening are very small. All right, next up, we have sample space. What is sample space? Sample space is when you write out all the possible options. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on a 6-sided number cube or a die. That's the sample space. On a coin flip, it'd be heads or tails. All right, so what's the likelihood of a 3, 4, 5, or 6 on a number cube? There's 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. So there's 4, 6 sides. That's 67%. Is that impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain? It is likely. It's more than 50. Okay, so it's going to be likely. Now, the final element of today's lesson is called the complement. Okay, and 2 things that are complementary complete each other. Like, are you awake or are you asleep? Okay, is it daytime or is it nighttime? Did you win or did you lose? Assuming you can't tie. Okay. So in this case, we're looking at a number cube, not 6. So we want every option that's not a 6. So it's either a 6 or it's not. All right, so there are 5 numbers that are not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 numbers. Boom. Now, let's make it a percent. That's 83% or 83.3%, depending on how you round. It doesn't really tell you. What's the likelihood? This will be likely, or you could even say very likely. 83% is really good chances of it happening. Okay? And there you have it. That's a lesson. If you have any questions, message me, talk to me in class. Do whatever it takes to dominate this lesson. Talk to you soon.